They would be real assholes if they're only trying to attach Luna Maria to Shin so that she can die later.
And piss him off even more, yeah.
I don't know if even piss him off, just make a change. You know, make him realize that maybe he's on the wrong side or something. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. Very specifically, the HD remaster, if you didn't know, because apparently some of us didn't. Don't trust Crunchyroll, I guess, is the message of the day. But then again, I don't think a lot of people were to begin with, so surprise, surprise.
Nobody did.
Well, I don't know. I just thought, like, I don't watch stuff on Crunchyroll because Crunchyroll also censors without telling you that you're being censored. Like, I was watching, I don't remember what it was. It was a long time ago. Like, a long time ago, probably 2018, 2017. I was watching something and the bottom half of the screen was bright white, and I didn't even think about it. I thought, oh, maybe it's like, you know, like the sun or an explosion or some shit. Like, I don't know what it is. And then I saw it somewhere else, and there was no bright white. It was just screen. And by the way, it wasn't even censoring anything, really. Like, cleavage, maybe? Not like actual boobs, just cleavage. It's like, why? And then I just like, are they doing this to everything I watch? Has everything I've watched been like this? Am I seeing some version of a show that I wanted to watch that I didn't ask for censorship on? It's like, I instantly did not fucking appreciate that at all. Have not been back to Crunchyroll since then.
Well, I hadn't really problems with it. Whatever has been censored has been actually something I appreciated. Like because I one of the things I have is I have this extreme phobia of cockroaches, to the point that it's you want to see somebody who turns from being nice to murderous in a drop of a hat. That's me with cockroaches. I have to kill them.
Yeah,
I cannot stand just being.
We had that conversation right around here. We got palmetto bugs, which are flying, vicious cockroaches. They attack you. They come after you.
And so they did show a cockroach, and it got censored. So yeah, you knew kind of vaguely what it was because it was a form and whatever, but it didn't show the detail, and I appreciate it because it didn't trigger my sense of disgust.
But what if it was something that you didn't have a problem with, and for some reason, say 5% of the population did? Like, say they were censoring peanuts because someone had a real problem with just seeing peanuts, right? And you're
cigarette butts.
Yeah, just like some characters keep grabbing something off screen, but it's like all white on you on the screen. It's like, what the hell's going on here?
That looks nasty.
Yeah, I know, right? But it would change. It would literally change what you're talking, what you're seeing on screen, because it suddenly turns this into a fucking comedy, and you're like, And it's actually a very poignant scene where they're having a conversation, eating like a Snickers bar or whatever. It's like, it's just like, they start censoring off any show that has like a name brand. So all of a sudden the streets are filled with signs that are just fucking blank. It's like, you didn't choose this; they chose for you, and I do not like them making these choices for me, especially when I don't know that they're being made for me. The idea that I found out that I was being not that I was being censored, that things were being censored for me, that pisses me off. Like I said, I haven't been back to Crunchyroll in what, 8 years now. Don't do that shit.
I haven't had a problem with it, but I can see how you can have a problem with it.
Well, as you also found out, they're not labeling shit right, so that is very off-putting as well. Like, imagine, I've been in this situation you've been in before, not with like Crunchyroll and shit like that, but watching an episode and finding out it's the wrong one. It ruins your experience.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway.
Okay, well, by the way, today's sponsor is Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
They said we could say whatever we wanted, so. Well, yeah, last episode, we are back where we were in season 1. It's this time not Patrick Zala, but Lord Gibril. Lord of what?
Yeah.
Still don't know. Hell, I guess.
Lord of the Dance, I guess.
I
And
mean,
Death
maybe.
Race.
Lord of what
Also,
remains of the Earth Federation.
Also, that was a very expensive weapon that could only be used once.
It can be used again. Some of the O'Neill cylinders are burnt out or destroyed, and some of them have been attacked by enough zaft forces, I guess, to actually break them. But it seems like the implication is that they could still use them. Because the last time we saw, like right near the end, we saw enough O'Neill cylinders that they said, oh, we can fire backwards, because we're on the dark side of the moon. We can fire backwards at Earth still. That was the weird, line thing. They're like this way, and then since they're on the dark side of the moon, comes back around the moon, back towards Earth.
I guess so, but still, I mean, it's still vulnerable. If you don't have forces protecting those O'Neill cylinders, they're pretty vulnerable.
Well, I mean, that
they're
was
tough,
the benefit of the Genesis thing. I can't remember the actual name of it. I think Genesis was actually the one that was at Alaska base. But the one Patrick Zala had, that was the benefit of that one, because it was a bunch of things that just had to move in front of the beam fire thing, so they could switch them out. And then they had that asteroid base in front of it to defend it. Plus, also not hindered by the fact that one had phase armor and a cloaking device. So, but yeah, no, it looks like they rebuilt that defense station. That's the one that Durandal is at now.
Yeah.
Though not sure what they've done with it, since they've given it like sort of weird band, and then they built into the giant hole that it had on the side, so now it's like all space station.
Yeah. He's not happy though. And I imagine a lot of people SAF are not happy either.
Well, you remember how they almost broke
surviving this.
They almost broke down crying when they almost got nuked. Like,
yeah.
And now they actually, it's like, God, what did they say, 4 of them? It's Janus 7 times 4.
Yeah, and millions upon millions of people.
Yeah, that's what started the last, not the last one, we're currently in one, kind of. I don't know. I don't know if this is actually a war, because no, who's been declared war on. I guess technically Earth Federation declared war. But Earth Federation really isn't. Well, I guess they're technically. It's like when you watch those World War II documentaries about like the super weapons of World War II, and here's all the things Germany was trying to get out there before the end of the war. It's like if Germany had invented a nuke and Germany falls, Hitler shoots himself in the head, but that guy in the bomber still has a nuke in the plane. It's like, I guess the war's not over until that guy gets down.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we're at. Jibril doesn't have a nation anymore, but he's still in a bomber carrying a nuke.
And perfectly willing to use it. So let's see if he does. I doubt he's going to get a second chance.
Well, he will. There's 7, technically, episodes left. We still have to...
shooting because...
Well, this is the George Lucas of Gundam seed writing. It rhymes. It's like poetry or whatever the fuck he said. I've already said it's like it's a mirror because it's doing the same thing. So we have to have Talia get into a fight, or refuse command, get into a fight, die. Jibril probably gets shot in the back of the head, although I wouldn't put him past him for Durandal to get shot in the back of the head, possibly by Rey, when Durandal comes to his senses and doesn't do the thing that Rey wants him to do. I'm still on that train that Rey might just be calling shots. And if I'm right about Rey just being all of the memories of Rao put into Rey's body, would be a lot closer to that Rey's actually been pulling the strings the whole time.
Setting both sides against each other. And he's the one, instead of receiving information, feeding it to them?
Also, Rey, because Rao was alive when Rey was born or created, whatever, could be that's all that side information is that Rao created for himself a body that doesn't age super fast, so a non-flawed coordinator body. And then that's why he was around Rey all that time, so that he could instill him with his beliefs before he then put his own mind into him. Because granted, it's not... I understand this. I'm sure already people have been commenting last episode when I brought it up that that's not Rao still. Even if he puts all of his memories into him, that's still not Rao. There's no continuation of being. You know, the argument you make for like the Star Trek teleporter, right? That the person who comes out the other side isn't you. That person died in the other teleporter.
Yeah. Anyway. Shall we?
Yeah, sorry. There was more in-depth thoughts I was just thinking, because I can't remember. I can't remember what sci-fi series I'm thinking about. Probably it's a novel about the continuation of consciousness as an element of existence.
Reminds me of an anime which is not, I knew it's not an idea of the anime, but the whole thing was that humanity, there had been a disaster on Earth. Humanity was living most of it in a space station, and they'd been
Blue
digitized.
Gender? Never mind. Yeah, I was right with you. I was all right with you on Blue Gender until you said, and then it became digitized. It's like, nope, that's a different thing.
Yeah, and they have to do something on Earth. Have to go back down on Earth and find something, a satellite, something else. And so the agents would, and the structure was that the more rich and powerful you were, the more bandwidth you got, right? So that in this virtual space you would look better, be able to do more, right? But they didn't explore that well, because eventually it's a young woman that digitizes herself. She's a full adult, but digitizes herself in a much like a teenage body, goes down to the planet to find this thing. But then she realizes that the whole thing with space is kind of a lie, that people on Earth have their own lives, etc. Blah blah blah. And falls up with this guy, and a bunch of stuff
beyond
happens.
the apocalypse and space station stuff, it almost sounds like Upload. If you ever watched that,
no, I haven't watched
the
that.
Amazon show about the digital afterlife, where you get uploaded before you die, and literally they are trying to save money in that one. So there's like this cheap rent upload heaven where you only get so much bandwidth a month. So it's people who are like just completely gray, the food has no taste or anything. Reading a book even eats your bandwidth. So people are just frozen for most of the month and just really saving. Like having a conversation with a person eats up your bandwidth. Everything eats up your bandwidth. You want to see? Bandwidth. I appreciate that it also had not the playtest, what would you call it? The alpha version of Upload Heaven, which just has a guy who has no eyelids. He's like a vampire, essentially, because everyone who comes down there, he knocks out and takes their bandwidth and everything. It's a creepy horror story. I just like the ideas behind it, because also the future is just so fucking crazy in that show.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what the Three Ships Alliance and the Real Lakas and whoever they're going to do to stop this. That's another thing. I don't know what the hell they're going to do other than stop Saf from killing Jibril, right?
I mean, yeah, legitimately, I don't care about anybody anymore. Because ideally, the guys I care about literally just got hit with a super weapon. And the idea is the show is talking about, no, we have to stop Durandal for his multi-generational plan about upheaval of society versus the guy we should probably be stopping now with a super weapon. It's like, I don't think our heroes our protagonists, I'm going to call them protagonists, have priorities because, we should probably sit on the bottom of the sea in our fake hot spring and talk about doing things, even though we're not doing things. Even though our best friend told us to go to Orb 10 episodes ago. Yeah, and then we didn't. And then I only really care when I see the identity theft happening. That's the only time I act. Again, I don't know why I would give a shit about the Archangel crew anymore. Other than carryover from season 1. But then again, I didn't particularly like a lot of them in season 1 either.
Well, see what happens.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You just wouldn't fucking know. Oh, now it's a mobile fortress. Sorry, Durandal, that was the wrong call. Stop whining.
レクイエム再チャージ急げ。セカンドムーブメントの配置どうなっているか。はあ、守りきれよ。今度こそプリリウスを葬るんだからな。ともかく救助を。いや、それも分かってはいるが。
No need to activate my ass. I'd be in a spacesuit on as thick as I could.
停戦？相手は国家ではないんだぞ。テロリストとどんな交渉ができるというんだね。
Nor should you.
力に屈服しろというのか。
第8機動艦隊発進中。総員第2戦闘配備。
防御フォーメーションケベックズールノベンバー。よし、こちらの第3艦隊も上げろ。オーレの防衛を確実にするんだ。ゴンドワナと合流する。急げ。はっ。
You know, despite not being a nation, they got a lot of shit on their side.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when we're complaining about the whole where do these factories come from?
Yeah.
It's like, why were you holding all this shit back? You should have launched all those fleets back when you were attacking them all those other times.
Mm-hmm.
Nonsense. It's all fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
I think I've said before, though, I would be terrified about living in space. You know, I would be as terrified about living in space as people living during the Cold War would be about getting nuked. Because, you know, you just never know when it was going to happen. Literally, the world around you is fragile, and at any moment, you could be sucked off into space. You'd be asleep at night in your bed and get sucked off. You never know when you were going to get sucked off.
You never know. You never know. It would be horrible. Well, it depends on actually how you get sucked up in the middle of the night.
Oh, it would be violent, man. It would be super violent. You'd just be asleep in your bed, and then suddenly you'd be off your feet getting sucked off. Look, I wasn't joking at first, but I saw you starting to laugh, and I realized what was being said.
Yeah, I just couldn't help it. Sorry about that.
But no, I mean, I'm being very serious, though. Again, the threat of imminent destruction that existed during the Cold War when people actively believed the nukes could fall at any moment is the same fear that I would have about the world, the artificial world around me.
Yeah.
Because literally, you know, a micrometeorite strikes and boom, you're dead.
Yeah.
And now, quite literally, it's like 4 plants have been destroyed. And these people are like, what do you mean it's over? No one's called an armistice. You know, the fighting's still happening? You don't even know. You don't even know because you can't see outside.
Yeah. But who's leading the revolution, though? What kind of revolution is it?
Well, revolution for who? I hope it's not zaft, because that wouldn't make no fucking sense. Unless they're like, hey, by the way, here's the information about Break the World. But that would be
if
way...
that's the case...
Even then, though, that would be way too quick, because you would have to fucking investigate that information.
Will they? That's a laser beam. How are they going to he said, oh, I'm sure they would block any other attacks. How? It's a beam.
Well, I mean, they're being deflected around the things, so maybe there's a way to do that.
Wow, that's not comparison to Star Wars or anything.
Oh, don't do that. That'd be stupid and stupid.
Yeah, very.
It's gonna be a year before this comes out versus that comment that just got made. That person's never gonna know we're making fun of them. I mean, it's what Azrael said back in Season 1. They can fire again any moment. We don't know. We have to win now. I mean, going back to what I was talking about before, though, he does have a kid.
Yeah.
Also blonde, maybe Ray. But with Durandal or that other guy who we've never seen ever again.
Has to be the other guy.
I mean, unless Durandal had that guy killed and...
Okay. Oh, that's who she used to be.
レクイエム稼働率 48%。セカンドムーブメントまもなく配置完了します。
So I keep going back to it. But I was talking about the revolution thing. You don't. I feel like people would have to get the information first. Like shit doesn't just happen on the throw of a die. Well, you'd go faster if you had painted your mobile suit red. That's why the Minerva's
Like
so
a
fast.
comet. Like the comet.
中継点を落とせればかろうじてプラントは撃たれない。だが奴らのチャージの方が早ければ艦隊もろともなぎ払われるぞ。トリガーを握っているのがそういう。
I was about to make a comment about the fact that they have shields, but then remembered the Artemis back in season 1 had shields. But again, you didn't see Artemis because they cut that out of the movie completely. And that's not your fault. It's the writers.
そんな風に言うなよ。なんであれ、時は戻らない。そう思うなら同じ鉄を踏むなということだな。レイ。
So my mind went off on a wander there about writing a story about characters in a book that break the fourth wall because they know that they're in a book, and they constantly refer to the writer to blame the writer for all of their woes. But they have no ability to affect the writer because they're characters in the book that they know that they're characters in the book. Remember when we were surprised that they had more destroys? And now, clearly, we don't know the lengths of anybody's resource pool.
今まで誰にもできなかったことを私は成し遂げる。歴史はようやく正されるのだ。あと数時間で。
How? Literally, you're only trying to shoot down their capital. You're not even trying to destroy all of the plants. Also, he was remembering back to the coordinators being shot on the street.
Yeah,
not,
murder, yeah.
Yeah, not the murder of the Logos members, which it seemed like. Because that first guy, I think, was Glenn, the first coordinator. He just had to be wearing a suit that looked like the Logos suit guys.
今度こそ失敗は許されないぞ。シン。急げよ。
You ever noticed how Ray wears a different suit than the rest of us?
気をつけて。
ルナこそ。
I've never loved you as much as when you killed my sister.
やっぱりダメだよ。ルナが一人で砲のコントロールを落とすなんて危険すぎる。
シン。
やっぱりそれは俺かレイが。
シン、同じことよ。陽動で基地を撃つのだって同じくらい危険だわ。
They would be real assholes if they're only trying to attach Luna Maria to Shin so that she can die later.
And piss him off even more, yeah.
I don't know if even piss him off, just make a change. You know, make him realize that maybe he's on the wrong side or something. I mean, I don't believe that. I'm just saying I feel like I'm in the head of the writers.
Isn't that what Kira said? He wanted to protect everyone and failed?
I try not to think about what Kira says anymore.
No, but remember, per season. That was the whole thing. I want to protect everyone.
I mean, that was his argument for not going back with Atherin to the plants.
zaft 軍ミネルヴァです。ミネルヴァだと。バカ者、なぜ今まで気づかなかったのだ。警報、スクランブルだ。直ちに迎撃を開始せよ。
I bet that they're not gonna be stopping this episode.
Well, of course not. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling here. Like, is it the tenseness that they're gonna fire again? Am I supposed to be excited for a combat scene?
トリスタンイゾルデ起動ランチャー1から10全問ナイトハルト装填
デスティニーレジェンド発進
レイザーバレルレジェンド
Or the Archangel shows up to help them, and becomes a three-way battle. Then
No, I think the Archangel's probably going to attack the mobile fortress because they're about stopping Durandal, even though this should be the more pressing thing.
ランチャー3 8
So I think it would be narratively crazy for them to have a whole conversation about stopping Durandal and then showing up here, given their given their history of not showing up anywhere they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
議長ミネルヴァがダイダロスに
そうか
Gotta want that
来て
chair.
くれたか
はい
彼らに
You're almost in that chair. Your background.
Mm-hmm.
イゾルデ
面かじ15下げかじ10山の影に入れタンホイザー起動
This is the dark side of the moon.
随時市内へ流して
Yeah.
What shadows?
We-
コロニーで戦う彼らのことも
It's pretty bright for the dark side of the moon.
大丈夫だ
Yeah,
混乱など起きやしないよ皆知りたいはずだ
the planet is supposed to be in alignment or something for Mars to be casting light back onto the moon.
そしてその権利もあるはずだろう
デストロイ発進まだか敵は一隻だぞ
Oh,
More
more
destroyers.
destroyed, yeah. Whenever you think we're out of resources, fuck you.
シン分かってるあいつら
Remember when these were a major threat?
プライマリ並走バンクコンタクト出力低下セーフティー解除
What if Lord Gibral isn't extended?
Doesn't seem like it.
I had a thing back when they first encountered the lab where I said something about the numbers didn't add up and there should be more extendeds that we don't know about or something. Like we'd seen 6 and there was like 7 listed or something. Well, no, I mean from the element that what if Durandal did work at that lab, like I had originally suspected? What if Gibral is his creation to do this?
応答ありません レクイエム発射だフルパワーでなくてもよい
They're starting to explain why he looks so fucking different from everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know, the closer you get to the end of the show, the less time you have to throw out ideas, crazy ideas.
ダメですフォーレに異常発生ポジション取れませんダメならそれでもよいフォーレの奴らだけでもそれでは終わりです次のチャージまではとてもいいから撃てその隙に脱出する
And go where?
Where?
まだいくらでも道はある基地を降伏させ同時に撃つんだ
Oh,
Isn't
that
that
is
what
Caecilia
Caecilia
says, yeah. Took me a second to try to remember who said that. As long as I'm alive, Xeon remains.
Where's Astros? Astrosel?
That's the capital.
Another base? Huh? What?
You're talking about the capital of plants?
No, it said Astrosel or something like that.
Unfortunately, I
to
was
there.
looking at you talking about Caecilia,
Yeah.
so I didn't look at the screen.
Yeah.
It might be the other moon base. Remember, there was 3. One got destroyed when Patrick shot it. This is the second one we know.
気を抜くな
I think the third one is where they kept all their nukes. Really, what this feels like is when after you beat Ace Combat game and they give you that one last mission
Yeah.
to do something crazy in.
レクイエム稼働率 63% パワーフロー良好フォースフィールド形成を確認
And she dies on the tube.
プライマリーエキストラクタースタンバイ。こいつらまだくそー。
Oh, there's the ship.
視野開放、カウントダウン開始。発射まで T-35。よし、全周波数で回線開け。トリガーはこちらに。
Well, she was a threat to you, Ray, but she won't be talking to Shin anymore. Maybe.
Well, he won't be finding that gun.
I was hoping Gibril was on one of those. Time to rocket launcher you in the face. Oh, that was good. I like that. Good little art style to being torn apart. Sort of a mix of Flay and Kycelia.
Okay. That was not, you know, the words of a good guy. Thank you for killing millions.
As I was already indicating, I suspected that maybe he was a plan of Durandal's right there at the end anyway.
Yeah.
You remember when Luna Maria was like bandaged up for like 10 episodes straight?
Yeah.
And Athrun was bleeding from the head just last episode?
Mm-hmm.
願いとか希望とか悪く言っちゃうと欲望？はい。でもそういうことでしょ？ああしたいとか。
Let me tell you the words of a famous band once called Gordon Gekko.
ここにいられないんだ。アスランだってそうじゃない？僕もそうだし、カガリやラクスもみんなそうだと思うよ。
By the way, world major threat right now. We were about to fire a super weapon, God knows where, kill millions of people. Might as well be sitting on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
As indicated, always where they shouldn't be. And instead having a conversation about nothing. I'm saying nothing because this is shit we've been talking about for a season and 3/4.
戦ってはいけないのか戦わなきゃいけないのかみんなの夢が同じだといいのにね
Isn't that what the chairman wants? For everybody have the same dream? His dream?
Yeah.
同じなんだ多分でもそれを知らないんだ俺たちはみんな
By the way, remember the thing's arm got cut off? And then just repaired it. Yeah, I mean, the thing that we've had buried under the ground for a long time. We just know how to repair it. Oh, now we're repeating this scene from season 1 too. Well, he is unwavering. You know that. Trust us, they exist. You might not have seen them before, but they're out there. So you're actively going to create war now.
月面都市コペルニクスに向かい情報収集活動の任に就く
Now that the fighting's done, we think it's appropriate
Together.
to send. Now that the fighting's done, it's appropriate for us to send our military up.
ロアローク一茶暁を頼むな。
お任せを。係様。
I guess he has his full memories now.
No, they're calling him Roanoke still. Neo Roanoke.
Oh,
今これで焦らなくていい。
Excuse me, guys. There's a scene that I need to go complete where I need to leave her naked almost in the side of a
Yeah.
desert. I've read the script.
一緒に行くそうだな。
はい。
あいつ頼むな。私は一緒に行けないから。
I've decided to finally be a leader. 40 episodes too late. Also, my inability to go with you means that I'm actively going to break things off with Athrun for some reason. Because I can assume that's the only reason she's crying. And not wearing the ring. Kigali actively telling people that long-distance relationships don't work.
they're difficult.
コンタクト。システムオールグリーン。アークエンジェル全システムオンライン。発進準備完了。
では参りましょう、艦長。
Again, for me, the dig is the fact that they said other nations of the world also believe the same thing that we do. Fuck off. How about no? Not one. Not one has been shown to us. I mean, statistically, you'd have to think that maybe someone would, but just in the line of things the show decides it was not going to express to us.
Yeah.
Because for me, it falls into the "am I the asshole" category, when literally
Yeah.
99% of the Earth is like, this is the path we're going down, and you're like, I'm going to send my military to the moon to investigate. Maybe you're the asshole.
Oh, depends on what they find out. They find nothing, or they start attacking Saf for no reason, then yeah, they're the assholes. But it's like, by the way, you know why all these people died? Because this guy has a loony idea of about transforming humanity, whether you like it or not.
This guy has a loony idea about actually enjoying your job because you're genetically disposed to enjoying your job.
I should enjoy my job if I want to, not because I'm made to.
Oh, you wouldn't be. Well,
It would be if it's your genes
That's the
were
debate.
programmed by someone else.
The debate is the meaning of the word "made." Are you talking about you were made to, as in? Hold on.
真実ではない。だが、偽りだけでもない。叶わぬ夢は追ってはいけない禁忌の光か。その思いすら操ろうとする者の手は今。次回、機動戦士ガンダムシードデスティニー。真実の歌。悲しき涙。忘れるな。
Okay.
Haru. They've never called any. I guess technically the whole things are Harus, but they always have names: Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue, etc.
Yeah.
Well, I guess 44 episodes was going to be long enough for my love affair with Mir, because Lacus is about to ruin her.
I mean, it's gonna ruin her.
Did you not see?
What? She tried to shoot her? What?
No. Technically, that was Mir trying to shoot Lacus. The very last scene, we saw Mir Lacus just sidling up to Mir to talk to her. That's Lacus's weapon. Talking. And unfortunately, as much as, we've both not with each other, but the show, about Lacus's point of view and inaction and everything else so far. So, Mir is going to get switched onto the Archangel train.
Okay.
Yeah, that's ruining her.
No, really.
It is.
Getting out of her delusion.
Have you
and
never
letting her be
enjoyed
who she
a
wants to be.
character in media only for part of their storyline?
I want to enjoy the entire character.
Of course, because you always want to argue with me. Okay. Can't think of one character that had a turn that you were like, I really enjoyed the character until they did this, and then I just didn't like them anymore.
Yeah. That happened. Not top of my head, I can think of it, but Wait, I can't. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I know Padme. I actually liked Padme until
specifically in the scenes where she started wearing tight leather, and then when she stopped.
No, I actually liked her in the first movie overall, and then.
Sorry, did you like Padme in the first movie, or did you like the bodyguard of Padme in the first movie?
No, actually, I like Padme in the first movie.
Because you remember Padme in the first movie was not Padme. That was a stand-in.
No, but you can tell when she's playing. I know the whole switch thing.
She was literally sorry, I said bodyguard, I meant handmaiden. Real Padme is a handmaiden. So you say, I really like the handmaiden in the first movie, and then Padme Amidala in the second movie.
Yeah, about the second movie. Well, when the whole romance thing starts, it's like,
when she fell in love with a 12-year-old?
Was he 12-year-old? No, I think he was older.
No. I mean, I don't know if he's 12 years old, but he's certainly probably not hitting those double digits yet. Movie 1?
Yeah, no, but I didn't like that part. That part.
That's what I'm talking about. Movie 1, that little kid? No, that's 12 at the latest, I feel like.
No, he was like 8, 10 at the most.
That's why I say he's barely pushing double digits if he is.
He was falling in love with her. She was like, in fact, if you see that scene, she goes like, oh, okay. That's a thing that happened. Yeah.
Either way, I don't think that was a choice I saw coming. I mean,
so if you ask me a character that I partially liked by part of the story, but then didn't like the rest, that's one choice.
I mean, I can't think of any other characters off the top of my head either. So, I mean, obviously, I'm just saying that that's a thing. Obviously, I really liked Mir and her propagandist arc. I really liked her in her I don't know what I'm doing anymore arc, which she's been in this whole time, where she's just crying and being abused, but also reflecting on what life was like before and how she's achieved her dream, even though her dream isn't something she actively wanted. But once she actually just starts becoming Lacus 2, which seems like is what's going to be happening here, that's where I stop liking her.
I think she could revert back to trying to find out who's the real Mir here. We don't have a lot of time for that, though, but that might be what they're going for.
I doubt it. I don't think we're going to have this scene and have two. I think it's more likely that we're going to have a Lacus that's just doing the stuff that Mir would be able to do as Lacus on Lacus's behalf.
I guess.
Which, again, I don't believe in Lacus, especially when it's literally like 90% of the world is on Zaft's side. Like, again, I was on Ozymandias' side in Watchmen.
I wasn't.
I know, we've already discussed this. I'm just reminding, maybe not you, but the audience, that even if Durandal turns... Here's the problem. Here's the problem that I'm finding now, is that I don't have a problem with Durandal going to extremes to bring the world together. Because, again, that's Ozymandias. But Ozymandias isn't like, and now I'm going to engage in eugenics. And it's like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, I was cool with you bringing the world together. Because to turn that around would make the sacrifice meaningless. You know, it's like those people who say God has a plan for everyone. And it's like, did we have this conversation already?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's your plan? Oh, you're going to get into a car accident and die so somebody can feel a certain way about a thing and then enact... Whatever. The idea that your sacrifice has a meaning, even if it doesn't mean much to you. That the people who died to enact this plan, you're making their deaths worthless by removing the world peace that enacts afterwards. Look, you always look at me with this weird... You always look at me with this weird, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. You're a monster. Monsters think this. I'm just saying. That maybe is me playing a play to justify, but I don't think justification is necessary. I think fucking bite your lip, get in line, and live in a peaceful world, you fucking asshole. Stop trying to fight me on everything. And this is not me talking to you, this is me in world. Like, if I would rather shoot you dead than have one more person argue about having the right to fight. Which is weird, because if anyone's watched my Gundam 00 arguments, it's like, people have the right to fight, goddamn. I am so against armed intervention.
Well, I would say that there's a difference between volunteering and voluntold. Or sacrificing and sacrificed.
Right, but we are so often on the edge of genocide and world devastation that I think that we no longer have the choice. Like, choice needs to be removed from us and put into a position, like, I hate the idea of making a dictator in charge, but maybe the person who won't kill us all is probably the best choice, no matter what.
That's what they said about every dictator up to this point.
Is it? I'm pretty sure not every dictator had at least planetary goodwill on their side.
No, I mean
that dictator
that he will help us. Those other people, well, I guess somebody has to be sacrificed, but we'll be better off.
No, and this, I guess the only benefit on that one is that the people that were sacrificed this time were completely at random. He didn't pick a group of people, and like all of the people from this country or the people of this religion. Literally, he said, "Well, this thing that's going to fall from orbit is going to hit indiscriminately. Didn't choose who it's going to hit. It's just going to hit people at random." There are coordinators on the planet. There are coordinators on the planet. He didn't pull people back.
Yeah, but it happens that the majority of people who were going to be killed, and that is if it fell into pieces, if his plan actually worked. Because if his plan failed, then everybody on Earth would have died.
No, not everybody. Probably would have been an island-ish, half population or whatever. And again, that doesn't even coincide with the fact that maybe all of Jibril's actions were part of his plan. In which case, maybe he we need part of Zaft to get hit so that it feels like everybody paid a price, so that everybody can come together in this peaceful world. And it's not like the Naturals thinking that only they paid a price with the Break the World incident. And now that we have been hit by the remains of the natural anti-coordinator government, we have paid an equal price, and now we can all come together to heal. Like, that could have been part of his plan.
The problem with that is it's unsustainable, because what happens if someone else objects to the plan? Like,
that's what we're seeing.
Keep on killing more people.
That's what we're getting, is that our protagonists are objecting to the plan based on really nothing. But I would argue that it falls apart not because of what you said. It falls apart. Well, if the whole he's trying to become immortal thing isn't in play, because we don't know if it is or not. Maybe it's just something we made up or I made up. If that is in play, then my argument here doesn't matter. But if it isn't, generationally, it would fall apart, because new generations would just forget everything and would fall back into old human habits of fighting one another and whatnot. So you can't have a humanity scarring event last forever. It's only scarring to those people, and maybe 3 or 4 generations later, until it becomes just a story that your great-grandparents told.
Also, the fact is that the way you get to that is horrific, and it's once you uncork that bottle, it's like, we got a generations of peace. How do we get there? Well, a lot of people die. Seems we're going to have another war.
We do have a population problem as well.
Yeah, let's uncork the genocide bottle again.
It's not genocide. It's because you're intentionally not killing everybody. You're just killing enough to
killing a lot of people. There comes a point when you kill enough people that there's no other word other than genocide.
No, right? Genocide literally does not define the term, because genocide has its own definition. There are different words for a number of people that you kill. At this point, we're not longer talking in serial killer terms of how many people do you murder. You're talking about decimation, where you're going in percentages.
Yeah, and large ones anyway. So yeah.
Well, you're saying large ones. I would argue that probably it's not a huge number. You're probably talking hundreds of thousands, which is a large number, but to the population of mankind, which is in the billions.
And again, I say that's not enough. You cannot justify that. No one has the right to do that.
I have stated a number of times now that I don't think justification is an issue.
I think it is. That goes to the heart of the issue.
Well, no, when you expose that opinion, that's when you're dead. Unfortunately, we are in the fascist dictator future, where peace is a measure of strength. Unfortunately, it's a one world government. We're 1984ing it.
Yeah. The thing is that also government failed.
Well, I mean, to
It
an
did.
extent, it was successful. But, I mean, it's also in a retro... It brings mankind backwards instead of forwards, so it's not like a future that you... Unfortunately, human advancement tends to be as a product of war and strife, so...
A combination of both. I think that's also problematic. We do strive as much in peace as we do in war.
Well,
Because there's
not
different
as
things
much.
that get developed.
Arguably, in
The
peace,
thing
we
is-
fight ourselves in different ways.
But there's things you can develop in peace that you cannot develop in war. And there's things that do get developed in war that are very narrow and only can really be used fully in peacetime. So if you're going to go for the wartime gives us a lot of things. Yeah, but eventually the only thing you end up developing is weapon systems. If you never get peace, then whatever those developments from those weapon systems will be exploited.
I'm going to preface this with I don't give a fuck. So know that I'm not trying to start an argument, but name something that could only be developed in peace.
Stoves.
The microwave was invented during war, so why do we need a stove?
No, the microwave wasn't invented in war. Actually, microwave was discovered
Microwave is an
during war.
offshoot of research that was done during wartime.
Wartime, but it could only be brought to as a device in peacetime. In other words, there was no need for it in wartime.
I would argue that it could have
thing.
still been developed during war.
No, because all that research and development was going to radar, which is where my microwave goes, and radio, and maybe in satellites.
Right, all that would have been required is somebody in a military planning committee to realize we need to cook food faster for our soldiers on the field. Boom, use your microwave radiation, not microwave.
Internet. The internet was developed during the time of peace because I know
it
DARPA
was developed in time of peace for war.
But eventually, who got the most benefit out of it? It was done during peace time.
Arguably, your argument is wait until World War III, and then we'll determine who got the most use out of the internet.
Well, we're using it right now.
Yeah, you're using it right now, but you can only compare it to the after effects of a thing that it was designed for. It hasn't happened yet. It was designed to, keep communications up in the event of a nuclear war. So until said nuclear war happens, we can't really contrast and compare.
Yeah, but it would have been a very simple network. Now the way we use it today would not have been available during wartime. I wouldn't have been able to have this conversation with you because all the bandwidth would have been restricted for military use.
Oh, no. You see, what would have happened would be that I would have been drafted into the military because of the all-war government that would have been happening since we're in an all-war thing, like we're describing, right? And when Puerto Rico votes to not be a member of the United States, we would have invaded it, like we will Greenland, apparently. And that's when I would have met you and had this weird conversation about a thing that wouldn't make sense in that universe.
Yeah, well,
Just me sitting on a wall somewhere, and we're like, "You ever heard of giant robots?"
Yeah,
chicks dig giant robots.
This show is just getting dumber and dumber by the hour, man.
I mean, it at least gives us interesting conversation points to talk about.
True.
Even though we both sit on opposite sides. Like I said, at the point that you were killing this many people, then you might as well try to make the utopia peace world afterwards make fruition. Because if all that comes of it is regret and sorrow for the dead and then more fighting, then you're doing a disservice to the dead.
Yeah, but I don't think that to get to that point, you should have. Again, it's what got you here in the first place.
It's a talking point. It's a talking point we brought up in season 1 or rest of the movies, and then season 2 is how do we get past the cycle of hurt? And the only 2 options so far that we've actually come up with here is rouse, kill everyone, which is technically true. I mean, we will stop fighting if no one's left to fight. Or 2, Watchmen, which is what we're apparently doing here, and it was the answer in Watchmen. I mean...
And it was dumb.
I'm sure it happens in other series as well. That, I mean, you're saying it's dumb, but in universe, it seems to work. But again, my argument is that generationally it wouldn't work, because obviously 3 or 4 generations down the line, it's just going to be a story that these people have heard, or ignored in history books or whatever, and it's not in the psyche anymore. You're not going to inherit that scar through your genes. It's just going to be a thing you don't care about anymore. And then it's going to be, hey, those people on the colony on the other side of Earth, their bubble dome protected by the nuclear holocaust outside, they have resources we don't have. We need those resources to live a more comfortable life, and no other reason than that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Time to start World War IV with the other dome city. Because that's the world.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There's no answers. And the show, I feel like, is at a loss for creating them. And we're not smart enough to come up with those answers.
I know. I think that peace, reconciliation, and justice are the way to go, but I guess those are not very
reconciliation and justice are often at ends to one another.
No, I think you cannot. You have one with the other.
No. I feel like the people who are defending the people you want to bring to justice are the ones you're not going to reconcile with, and the ones who are going to continue fighting in the attempt to get justice for what they seem, or what they deem, rather, to be an injustice done by you in your attempt to receive justice. Not everyone defines justice the same way, which is another problem. This is why I'm saying they could be at ends to one another. People also don't think they're wrong a lot of the time. Who would have guessed yes on this, right? Yeah, so if you're trying to bring someone to justice for something they don't think is wrong, because also, big clue here, a lot of the stuff that seems obviously morally wrong, like hating an entire race of people, some people take that as natural and not wrong at all. You know, maybe it's written in maybe their grandparents told them that, maybe it's written in their religion, some shit, who knows. But bringing those people to justice for people that they killed, who they don't even believe to be people, no reconciliation there.
I mean, you stop those people from killing more people, and then you send the message.
If they're not going to stop. History has proven they're not going to stop.
Yeah, but for example, I don't try to create a situation where I just, okay, these people are racist and want to kill, like, you know, the
just one example. There's one example.
Let's just the Blue Cosmos. Cosmos is bad because they want to enslave or kill all the coordinators. Okay, I'm going to solve that problem. Yes, I'm going to drop a giant piece of a space station on Earth.
Here's my problem.
To create a war.
Here's my problem,
that will
is that I'm asking you, I said we're not smart enough to figure it out. And your argument was I could do these 3 simple things. And I'm saying, no, nothing is that simple. And your only defense is I won't do what they did. So again, no solution. We are not smart enough because no person or group of people in the history of mankind has been smart enough. It's not that I'm saying that we're dumb. I'm saying that no person ever has ever been able to figure this out. So I don't expect a group of writers on a TV show is going to be smarter than every philosopher, historian, any morally centered figure, more than Buddha, more than Jesus, more than Muhammad. No one is going to figure this out. Because you know what? Even all those people who gave us messages of peace and goodwill to all fellow men were fucking persecuted. Because no one wants to hear that shit, apparently.
Well, people in power don't want to hear that shit, you know.
Oh, go figure. Go figure. And the people in power have what? Power. So again, I'm not saying that we're dumb. I guess I'm saying that all of humanity is dumb.
Yeah. On that optimistic note.
Yeah, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?